You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Podcast Network. Find all of our shows at wearelibertarians.com. You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com.
Welcome to the Boss Hog of Liberty podcast. This is episode number 376 of Eastern Internet's favorite podcast. Jeremiah Morrell, joined by executive video producer, audio engineer, a man with flush toilets, Zach Burcham.
Yes. Don't realize how much you like it.
So far, all year, you've had it.
Yep. Every day.
Can't say that for last year. And in the co-host chair today, we have Presley Sorah, noted race car driver. And I think he's our Jimmy Carter expert as well.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
it was short notice, guys. We didn't know it was going to happen, so we did the best we could. Today's show, we are going to talk with Presley about his racing career. Made it into NASCAR last year. Got some starts in the ARCA Menard series and the ARCA East series. He's a video game racer on the iRacing. And he has one of my favorite stories of all time in sponsor hunting that he just made something happen. And that sponsor product is, I'm truly a gigantic fan. So that's awesome. We've been talking college football on here. Going to summarize where that's at. I know that a lot of you are watching that game right now on account of terrorism. We're going to talk about that. We had some wild, crazy stuff happen locally with a police chase. Jimmy Carter did pass away. We might talk about Congress. And if there's any time left, maybe some New Year's resolutions. This show is about our lives in rural Indiana. We're here to push your boundaries and make you think as individuals. Sometimes we'll provoke you, other times we'll make you laugh, but hopefully you'll always learn something new. If you are a patron of this show or a member of the Patreon community, you got the special secret Facebook group access, which got you your show notes this afternoon. Just streamed 20 minutes into there talking about what happened on New Year's. Compared our activities. I think between the three of us, 42 drinks were consumed or paid for. You can try to work it out amongst yourselves as to who consumed what, or just join the Patreon. If you're at $50 or more a month, you get your name and or business at the top of each and every episode as a thank you. Those folks are John Phillips, Andy Moore Buick GMC in Fishers, Indiana. Our buddy Blake Reese over at Varsity Outfitters here in Newcastle, and our newest patron is Thomas Oakes over at Walnut Ridge RV. He can hook you up with the brand new RVs as needed, or the used ones. There's a lot of good stuff over there. All the business out of the way. Welcome, Presley.
Hello.
Glad to have you.
Yep.
We're getting your reps in because I know at some point you're not only going to be a super successful NASCAR driver, you're probably going to end up doing Saturday calling the color around the races too.
Yeah, hopefully.
Cup racing on Sunday,
nice.
doing Saturday color, and we got to get you reps.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Got to practice.
Going to get you in. All right. So you live here in Cambridge City, Indiana. Nice 15, 20-minute drive away.
Yep.
There are Henry County residents with Cambridge City addresses. That's how close to home you are. You're basically a hometown driver. So for those that don't remember or weren't with us last summer when you were on with before, you made 3 starts in the ARCA series last year.
Yep.
Including our hometown race at Indianapolis.
Yes.
How did the racing go for you? Tell us how. You not only that, you drove every car imaginable. I think you drove a Ford, you drove a Toyota, you drove a Chevy.
I completed.
You got in everything.
Yeah, I completed the manufacturer roulette last year. But no, I mean the racing went all right. I feel like I'd learned a ton. I mean, every time I went on track, I got so much better and more confident than I did previously. The results don't really show how much I feel like I gained from the year. Like on paper, it looks awful, but just laps and reps for me was the most important thing for the year. So I did get that between 5 starts between ARCA East and ARCA National. So, I mean, I could have hoped for more with the results. I knew that I did what I set out to do, which was just learn, get better, improve for this year.
So tell us what Indianapolis was like. How the weekend went. Obviously a lot of local support for you.
Yes.
People showed up and were excited. Tell us how the qualifying went, and then the race, and ultimately how it turned out.
Yeah. So I mean, I've said this, like, Indianapolis went as good as it possibly can go, except for the finish of the race. Like, the lead up was great, had tons of hometown support. We did a really cool event in Cambridge at the Goulet Center with my car on display and everything. And
It's where you work, right? Or at least at the time.
Yeah, that's one of my part-time jobs.
Yeah.
So I worked there. I went to preschool there. So like that, I mean, it was really
Full
cool
circle.
to have a car there of my own. But we had that the day before the race, and I mean, tons of different interviews and podcasts. I was on your podcast that week. So everything went great the week of the race. And then we get to the track, and I really felt good about the race. And we unloaded good. I knew really after practice that we were going to have a good shot at a good run, and had fresh tires for the whole event, which was nice because in ARCA sometimes we're running on some scuffs and all, and we were doing the full deal for this one, and it qualified. I qualified, I want to say it was either 17th or 19th, something like that, and it was a big field. We had like 30 or 31 in the field, and qualified decent, but I knew I left some on the table. I was the second fastest of the 5 cars on our team for that event, which, I mean, that was, I guess at that point, it was like my third or fourth start. So I was like, second out of 5 on the team. That's not too bad. I was pretty happy with that. So I knew I left some on the table.
Not a lot of practice opportunities. So your practice mostly been iRacing, getting familiar with the racetrack, and you're running high. Like that's a high line track too. I mean, it's the comfort factor. It's not like you're just running around the bottom. You're trying to figure out how wide the race car is, and going out and trying not to catch the outside wall. Yeah, that's back in the day when we were racing NASCAR 2003 or whatever. iRacing kind of started the Pirates world. That was I struggled running there. Like it was just you're it's totally different. Yeah, the margin for error is nothing.
Oh, IRP is so awesome. It's so much fun because you can actually move around so much, and if one lane's not working for you, just move around to another one, move up,
just
down, whatever. Yeah, just figure something else out. And different lines work for everyone. Like, I mean, it may work best for me to run up on the outside, but other people can wrap the bottom seam or the middle. It creates great racing. But no, it was fun. I think we were really, really good at IRP. I think I had a really good shot at a top 10. Just circumstances ended up taking us out. Lost a left front shock, shot at a left front tire, cut the left front tire. The shock actually landed in the infield of the track, which, if you don't know, that's pretty hard to do. I couldn't do it again if I tried. But going down the back stretch, just shot out, and obviously shock's out, tires flat. I have no steering going into 3. All I can do is hit the brakes and take my hands off the wheel and watch myself hit the wall. So hit it at a pretty good angle, almost 90 degrees. I mean, it was pretty nasty, but survived.
How did you mentally prepare for that? Like in the half second between tires no longer playing on the team to you hit the wall. How was it?
So drivers always say that like time slows down in those moments. I swear to you that is true. Like as soon as it broke, I knew I was gone. Like I knew that I was
nothing
crashing.
You can do. You are now a passenger.
Yeah. Yes, I knew I was crashing. The last input I had was actually steering to the right to avoid my teammate, because when it initially blew middle of the backstretch, I was like car length and a half, maybe 2 car lengths off of my teammate, and when it just shot to the left when it broke. So it did that, and going into 3, I'm aiming towards him where he is, and I was like, well, that's not good. So my last input was steer to the right, and then that's when the tire really blew, and
that helped send it straight into the wall too.
Yeah. So, I mean, I knew that I was crashing. I could tell myself in my head, like, I'm crashing. Took my hands off the wheel, and I mean, you really do just watch it happen. I mean, you know it's going to happen, and it does feel slower when you're doing it, and which sucks because you'd rather it just be quick, get it done and over with. But you really do have time to think about it. And I knew it was going to happen. I knew it wasn't going to be any fun.
So it knocked the wind out of you? How did it feel?
It didn't really knock the wind out of me. I mean, it hurt. The first feeling I had was when I hit the wall, it felt like my entire body was humming. And it was kind of like a jolt of pain in my entire body, like just the feeling of humming, but everywhere, like in arms, legs, head, back,
your whole body vibrating.
And then immediate little bit of a headache, which you're going to have on those deals. But I mean, the worst thing was when I hit, it bounced off, and I bounced from the initial impact to the second impact on the wall was about a 6-car length difference. So I hit the wall that hard and bounced. And when it hit the wall the second time, the right front was like doing that horrible grabbing deal on the wall. So I was hitting and it just kept going like this. Yeah. But it finally stopped. I mean, I was immediately getting my belts undone and everything. And it's funny. I don't know how many people know this, but when you're watching the broadcast, I think it was, I'm pretty sure Trevor Bain was the guest on the broadcast for that race. And he was commenting on
Daytona 500 winner Trevor Bain.
Yes. So he was commenting on the fact that you could see on the broadcast when they're showing my car stop, my window net moving back and forth. And he made a comment like, I don't know why he's not getting out of the car. Like, he's obviously okay. He's moving the window net, but he can't get out. So what really happened in that was I hit the wall so hard on the right side that the energy went through the car and broke the window net shut on the left side. So the window net bar was bent closed. So it was something that I couldn't pull it out because it goes through the 2 little hoops. It was literally bent locked until the safety crew got it straightened back out and pulled it out.
So in case of fire, you're trapped.
Yeah,
I'd start racing
there
with
was
a knife
no
in the car at that point.
Yeah, right. Just carve the thing out.
Just start cutting it out like it's a box. Driving with a box cutter.
Yeah. Somebody in the chat says you mentally prepared by screaming at your spotter.
Yeah, so Bobby was here last time you were here.
Yeah.
And Zach's on Bobby duty tonight. I was trying to look at that.
I forgot about Bobby until suddenly Bobby was back.
Yeah, Bobby's back. That didn't happen. I thought about it. Maybe after. I have screamed at him before. So, I don't know.
Just like,
it counts for something, I guess.
I bet that was like the longest. Have you, like, it'd be interesting to go back and watch it and like time it and see how long it actually was compared to like whatever the 5 minutes it feels like it probably was when it happened. But
it's incredible. We got a Jimmy Carter expert who also
drives race cars.
Drives race cars.
I know.
Bobby wants to know how you run the top in 3 and 4. Did you knock the wall down in 3 and 4?
No. Well, when I hit it, it wasn't
before that. 4.
But before that, so first 20 or so, and it happened lap 48 was the crash. So now the running joke is anytime I get to lap 48 in anything, I'm going to crash no matter what.
They're so supportive.
Yeah, exactly. But up until that point, like the first 20, 25-ish laps of the race, I was just following the guys ahead of me. We were all just following each other. Everyone's running the same line and everything, and just nothing is working. Like it was like almost starting to tick me off because no matter what I would do, I wasn't gaining any time.
No progress.
I wasn't losing any time, but I wasn't gaining any time. So I made the decision I was going to move up the track and see if the high line would work any for me. And because we were running like right around the middle of the track. Well, I was the first car to go up to the high line because when I went up there, it sounded like shards of glass and marbles and rocks and all that good stuff when I went up there.
You were the track sweeper.
I was the track sweeper. We were dinging the wrap up for sure.
That first lap, was it not faster, I assume?
It was not faster because I went off into turn 3 and I was like, wow, I'm going to crash. Because, it just did the worst 4-wheel slide. And then once it got up there, it just wanted to step out on me. But I kept working it in for 3 or 4 more laps, and it only took a few laps to get it worked in. And once it got worked in,
it was good.
Oh, I was picking up like 3 or 4 tenths a lap from where I was running.
So the tires were probably a half an inch bigger in diameter, just rubber.
That too.
Up. Have you ever been on a racetrack after a race? Oh, like the marbles they call them is real. I have a ball of rubber after an Indy car race that peeled up, and it's right after the race. It's pretty sticky. Stock car might be not be as sticky as IndyCar rubber would be, but I can only imagine if people are running around for 25 or 30 laps and then you just say, "Oh, I'm gonna go drive in that."
Well, and they had, it was a 1-day show, so we practiced that day. We qualified that day. Truck series practice and qualified that day before our race. So it had tons of laps on it already.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of rubber buildup.
I bet it's not fun sounding in a race car.
No,
it's louder than
no.
a normal car. Plus, there's no sound deadening for you.
Well, and each one of those little pings I hear just means that I've got no grip whatsoever. So,
and you're worried. I mean, I don't know the financial arrangements of the deal, but you're not running for Joe Gibbs Racing.
correct.
Right. I mean, that crash damage matters to that team.
Yes.
So you're very much concerned about bringing the race cars home.
Yeah, you don't
keeping
want
the corners on them. You don't want any damage. You want to do a really good job showing yourself, but ultimately, unless it's a mechanical failure like this, you want to bring the car home safe.
Yeah, and that was one thing that I at least felt okay with myself after the event, because I knew race cars torn up, but it wasn't something I did that caused it. Like, I'd feel a lot worse if I just drove off into the corner and lost it and backed it in the fence and destroyed the race car. But the fact it was a mechanical issue, I mean, that's just a freak deal, and something that's out of my control.
Shock fail on a straightaway and like eject itself off the car
On the left front. That's not even the side that's getting the load.
It's not even load.
I'm an idiot that sells steel, right? But it's the right front is the one that's taking the load. The left front is just...
It was something that had just been overlooked and not properly put on.
Yeah.
And
it went through the tire on its way out.
Yes. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, in the broadcast, you can see the left front looks like it's just a massive hole within it. So for me, since I've put my own shocks on a truck now, so I'm an expert. Is it just the mount at the top came loose or whatever? Yeah, it didn't even break.
Yeah.
Like, it looked like it was fully intact afterwards.
That's wild. It just
shot out.
Just came out.
Yeah.
So how do you create other opportunities? Like, you did run for a number of different teams, different car owners.
Yeah.
How, as you're breaking into this world at 20 years old, how do you talk to the car owners, find the people that you're going to work with? How does that even happen? Once you get in the garage area, all of a sudden you're creating opportunities?
Yeah. So, I mean, this was the second year I've been involved with ARCA, and the first year, 2023, was just networking.
Yep.
Just I showed up to all the races, or not all of them, but close to all of them, and just shook hands, talked to people, helped out where I could. If they needed an extra set of hands to push a car through tech, I was jumping on the car to help push it through tech. So, I mean, I met all of the owners I raced for this year. I met them in 2023 just as a nobody, just there at the track helping out, and they all understood my situation. And I want to drive race cars, so everything's been building towards those opportunities. But I mean, you still can't just show up,
right?
So,
but you're networking, you're paying your dues, you're being valuable, and then when they've got the opportunity to reward you, they're doing that.
Yes.
Is what's happening.
Yeah.
That's the...
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, all of the, except for the Toledo team, I'd already even worked for the other two teams I raced for. So whether it be just social media, or like I said, helping with just general stuff at the track, pushing cars through tech, or out to the grid.
You didn't have to do the team social media post after you crashed, right? Like, you had somebody else was doing that for you.
Thankfully I didn't.
You didn't have to get out wincing and be like, God damn shock.
I know, right? Whenever I'm racing, I'm not on the socials. When I'm not racing, I'm always on the socials. But that would not have been a fun post to have to make 5 minutes after getting out of the car. Oh, by the way, 12 car in the fence.
This one really hurt.
Yeah.
Did you keep the shock?
I didn't. No, actually, I think ARCA confiscated them.
Oh, really?
Sure.
I bet they. I kind of wonder if they would be like,
I want to say they took it and then gave it back to the team the following week. I think so, and I know that they took the window net. So,
that's a safety concern. For that type of thing,
because that shouldn't happen.
No,
at all.
Yeah. If there's fire,
if there was fire, that would not have been good. I would have been finding a way to climb out the passenger window. So.
Yeah, we make light of it, but it's legitimate.
Not good.
But when race cars crash, that's when you that's how you learn, right?
Yeah.
Safety improves as you play crash test dummy.
Yeah, right. Pretty much. I should have gotten paid for it.
That's right.
Oh, gosh.
Well, hazard pay.
So you have this, and I don't know if it's continuing on, but I know that you told the story last time. Tatanka, hot sauce. Or whatever you want to call, whatever the product is called, Tatanka sauce, I swear it's my favorite. I'm going to go back on the website and order a case of it. I've gone through one. I had 2 bottles we left with, and I'm down to about half a bottle.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. You cold called them and made a relationship.
Yes. Yep.
And it still blows my mind that you made that happen and got them on race cars and brought them into motorsports.
Yeah. So, I mean, it doesn't always happen like that, obviously. I mean, that's like a really lucky, deal. But yeah, me and the owner, we talked for probably half an hour, maybe 40 minutes on the first phone call. I just called him, kind of explained the deal. And turns out, massive race fan, actually does the signage for the Dover racetrack.
Yep.
So he paints all the sponsor logos on the wall, deals with billboards, all that stuff. So he was already involved with racing from that aspect. And then this is a great opportunity to get on a race car. So it should be continuing this year. We're still working on all of that stuff, but yeah, he supported me. I mean, just monetarily wise, he supported me more than anyone last year. And if he wasn't sponsoring me, and without that cold call, I wouldn't have been doing most of what I was doing last year. So yeah, shout out to Tatanka Sauce. Every time you guys buy a bottle, that helps out with my racing. So helps him out, helps me out, just great. And it helps you out too, because it's really good.
Really good product.
It's really good.
I put every time we had chicken this summer, I would have it. Like legitimately, I would. I'm sold. So no racing announcements yet.
Not yet,
but hopeful to get some on the 2025 calendar.
Yeah, I will be in a race car at some point this year. I just, figuring out when and how many. That's the tricky part. So. I'm working hard on funding, trying to, obviously I want to, anytime I can be in a race car, I want to be in a race car. So, it's fun to work in motorsports, but when you want to be the one driving the car and you're watching from the sidelines doing a different job, you really want to be driving the car even more.
What did you have to have for ARCA licensing? Like for them to say, okay, you are certified. I assume you can race at any track ARCA goes to, or do you have to do a short track first? Like, what did you have to do to be like, ARCA says, yes, I can drive this car?
So my initial approval was for like mile and under tracks. So
because Brayton's on 2.5 mile tracks, and I'm still trying to figure out how that
he's
happened
approved
instantly.
for everything. Yeah, I don't know.
I think he's fantastic, but I was sitting here. He's like, I did figure 8 racing, and now I'm doing Daytona. I'm like, okay, all right.
ARCA's very funny with
Kyle Petty won at 18 at Daytona, so I know it's they're different with that stuff. But sorry, go ahead.
ARCA's really funny with their approval process. Nobody really knows how they approve people. I mean, there's every driver, there's people that we don't think should be approved and people we do think should be approved. And
I like Brayton too, but it looks like you yanked him off of a Daytona USA game while you're at that local arcade. And he's like, I got a helmet with pizza on it. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, we don't really know what's behind them. So, I mean, they just they have their criteria and they approve people based on what they think fits.
So if you had the opportunity, could you do one of the super speedways now?
That's what I'm working on finding that out. I've sent the emails and stuff in the past few days. I had an opportunity come up to try to qualify for Daytona next month. I don't know if that's going to be possible or not. So there's some breaking news, I guess.
I think you can just tell ARCA that you're coming. And
I know, right?
Announce it. And then let them be look. They're letting Mike Wallace run.
Yeah, that is true.
He's 66 years old.
Yeah,
and a widower. Why not?
Yeah,
It's not like you're trying to run the Daytona 500. You're trying to run the ARCA 200.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is now. Is it the Menards 200? Is there a title
like
sponsor?
That. Yeah,
I don't
ARCA
know.
Daytona 200.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, we'll see what comes from it. It's obviously a month and a half, not even that, from the race. It's a very last second opportunity. So who knows if it'll even happen, if it can happen. It's very recent. So we'll see. Like I said, I don't even know my approval status yet. I'm still working on figuring that out because it changes. And, just because I was approved once for a mile and under doesn't mean that I'm not approved for bigger tracks now.
They say, look, kid, you wrecked at Indy. Now we can't help you.
I know, right? Yeah, exactly. You've already wrecked at one track. Might as well bring you to Daytona.
Imagine how far your shock will fly on Daytona.
At Daytona, going almost double the speed. Yeah.
I would prefer for him to have a very safe and clean race and not have a story about a crash. I want to hear how the last lap went.
Right.
I don't want to hear about how it broke on
I
lap
know, that'd
48.
be nice, right?
All right. And then you did get to do Toledo. And you did us a solid. You ran the Boss Hog sticker on the car at Toledo, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Very cool. And then the motor laid down on you on that one, but you had an entertaining race there as well.
I did. Yeah. That, Toledo was really, really fun. That's one of my favorite tracks that I raced at the entire year. And honestly, our car for that race, it handled great. I mean, it drove really, really good. But, I mean, you know how ARCA is, and not all of the teams are Joe Gibbs, obviously. And the team I was racing with, they were in the same motor almost every race. And
the end of the year.
It was the end of the year, and just time and age and wear and tear on the motor from throughout the whole year just kind of put it to bed. And I was just the driver that was driving it when it happened.
It's like a game of hot potato.
Yeah, pretty much. But they did a great job, and I mean, they did everything that they could to, kind of pull back on the issues. But it just, as the race went on, the smoke got worse because it was really bad, like in lower gears, going lower speeds with the smoke. And then as the race went on, each restart that we would have, it really didn't like second gear.
They didn't just try to pull you in and say, let's put some Lucas oil treatment in it, did they?
All right. So like one of the restarts, it was probably 60 or 70 laps in. I don't know how this happened, but the lineup.
Brayton's in the chat.
Yeah, there you go.
He heard we were picking on him, so he's here to.
I know.
He's here to duel.
He was summoned. But yeah, somehow the lineup got all messed up. And I lined up like middle of the field, and I shouldn't have been because I was on 7 cylinders all day. I mean, we were not fast, but somehow I ended
even you're like, I shouldn't be here.
I know I was.
I'm going to get run over. I'm in danger. Yeah,
we were restarting.
That's okay. It's a half-mile track. You can be in danger no matter what. You may as well just start there and make them race for it.
It was like 10th in line probably, and it feels like 20 cars or whatever. I'm like, I shouldn't. There's no reason I should be up here. Someone's messed something up, but that's where they were putting us, so that's where we're at. And naturally, second gear just completely fell on its face there, and that was the first big step of the motor falling down. And I hit the gas on the restart, and it basically did the opposite. And all of a sudden, I'm top of 3 going into turn 1 at Toledo. I got the foam blocks over here, a couple feet from me. Cars flying through the middle on this side. I'm like, well, this is really good. Let's tear up another race car here just to cap off the year. But we survived unscathed, just the motor. It was like almost right at perfectly halfway. Like I think it was like 101 or 102. It was 200 lap race, and motor blew.
So what's the fitness side, the training, I know you're doing iRacing. How do you stay prepared in January now and hoping to do some racing next year? What's that look like in your daily life?
Here recently, lots of Reese's cups, Hershey bars. We've had some Skittles jelly beans here lately, but the iRacing's the biggest thing to stay up with it.
Zach, do you want to read the chat for us here real quick? Just give us an update.
Brayton has arrived. This guy must be slow. I beat him once. The S in Sorah stands for slow. The fitness side. I wanted so badly to reply fitness whole pizza in my mouth, and he just went fitness whole Mozzie's pizza. So he went.
I lapped Braden once at IRP, and then he re-lapped me as I was getting in the ambulance in turn 3. So I don't know where we rank on.
I guess that would be when he beat you in the shock lap.
Yes, oh my gosh,
shock cup playing.
Can you imagine you two got in a fight, and they're like these two guys from Cambridge, just like
he's from Greenwood.
Oh
yeah, he's an outer loop
Central Indiana guy.
Yeah,
just funny. But
two local Indiana pools.
Yeah, he's arrived. You say lapped me like 3 times.
Yeah.
We're basically interviewing Brayton now via the chat.
Yeah, pretty much. Special guest appearance.
Special guest, yeah.
But no, fitness side needs to get restarted here pretty soon. After I gave myself till after the start of the new year, so we're there. But iRacing is the biggest thing I do. I mean, I do iRacing like competitive races 2 or 3 times a week, and that just keeps me up on it with emotions. So that way, when I get in the car, it's not going to be anything too extreme. And then my new car is a 5-speed manual, so practicing the shifting every day now, so no excuses.
You're gonna make Zach think he could start Daytona.
I know.
If we get Zach like $40,000 in sponsorship, he's gonna want to run Daytona.
I haven't done it in a little while, man, but I can hoon the Mazda pretty hard in the back road. It's more of a road course guy, like the left and the right, but I can tell him a good road that gives you. I've got a good road coming into town that's got a nice tight section and also has like a big, I call it the big power section where you can like
Greensboro Pike.
Yeah.
Good. Deer will appear at any moment. You get to check the braking.
Usually not 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon when I go. I don't go through at night. I would never roll that road at night. I haven't done it in a while though.
We have obstacles like deer in ARCA too, so I mean it's just it'll keep you up on it. Keep your
and Brayton's out there, so you've got to be careful.
Brayton wants to know about
he's running the full season too, I believe.
He is. Brayton is full time.
Yeah, he's asking about Bucky's chocolate beavers and fitness.
So Bucky's. Little Bucky's shout out. They have a little like chocolate candy. It's about this big around, and I don't know what they call it, but it's a little beaver. So I just call it the chocolate beaver, and I've got to get at least 2 or 3 every time I go to Bucky's because they're so good. So they've got like milk chocolate, caramel, peanut. They're really good. So that's up there on my fitness game.
He says, it's part of your fitness regimen.
Yeah.
He also claims that he cut your shock in half.
Could be. Yeah.
When he has like some kind of James Bond setup.
So
right.
So how does the daily life of an up and coming ARCA racer go? You're going to all these races. Is it just a shit ton of road trips? Stopping at Bucky's?
Yeah,
you're not on the Learjet. You're not. No. You're probably not even flying Southwest.
I have never flown.
Really?
Every one of these trips has been just carpooling or driving myself or whatever, but it's always in a car. So like we have a stretch at one.
You go to California, like Kansas. I know y'all went to Kansas.
Go to Kansas. That's the furthest west I've been. Phoenix, I'm not messing with that. But and I'm certainly not driving to it at least. But it's just tons of car trips. And we have a stretch, it's like 4 or 5 weeks in a row. And it's going to be even worse this year, I think. But it's just, we get on the road on like Thursday, get there for the race on Friday or Saturday, head back home Sunday, and then do it all again the next week.
How many people are you sharing a hotel room with at the worst?
Well, so
what's your most jammed hotel lodging story?
We don't really have one, honestly. I mean, we just like 4 or 5 people in a hotel room. But,
that's a lot.
But the team, like typically they get 5 or 6 rooms. So we're funding hotels across America. We're part of our ARCA journey every year. So.
Holding up the hospitality industry.
We talking days in? What's the?
They're typically
obviously you're a taken man, but as these young ladies are looking for these young ARCA drivers, which hotel are they going to try to go find? You know, are they're looking for the Red Roof Inn, the Holiday Inn Express, the La Quinta?
Oh, what are they called? Oh, they're not good. they're little jot them down things. Gosh, I can't. It starts with like an E. I can't remember.
Econo Lodge.
That's it. Econo Lodge hates to see us coming because you're like 4 or 5 guys. It's 4 or 5 dudes. It's not like 4 or 5 like super clean, particular, whatever. It's like race dudes. They come back. They're covered in grease every night.
Yes. And you're probably pretty hard on the breakfast bar in the morning too.
Oh, the breakfast. Yeah. Well, if they've got one,
wiping it out.
A lot of them don't even have them. But yeah,
they probably do when you guys aren't there. But they're like, not this weekend.
Right. Yeah. Run us out of stock.
I think you guys need an Econo Lodge sponsorship.
I think so.
I think start picking up the phone and talking to the motel people.
I know, right?
That's the B2B stuff. Listen, I'm going to bring you everybody in ARCA is going to start staying.
Well, I'll be there. I promise.
Yeah. That's my salesman hat going on.
I might have to hire you.
This is what I do. Any more racing questions before we move on to the Jimmy Carter expert stuff?
Brayton's still talking about the chocolate beaver.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. I want to know for Brayton, if he's watching, how many how many local pizza joints he's got lined up for the year. He's got a full season. So 18, 20 races for ARCA this year. How many local pizza places? Because if they're not signing up for him,
how great would it be
if have a local pizza place every weekend?
How great would it be if there's no loyalty? It's just like he gets a whole season together.
We are here with Pizza King,
6 different pizza places,
20 races, 20 different pizza.
It's all different.
Yep. He goes to Toledo. It's the La Rosa's car. He's in Indiana. It's the Trains Pizza King. He
can't do Domino's because it'd slow his car down. They stuck that magnetic thing on the roof.
That'd be good. That'd be a good pitch, actually.
Man. All right. So you did Toledo, Indy, Five Flags. Where else did you get to run this year?
Nashville Fairgrounds in Iowa.
God, the Nashville Fairgrounds is legendary, man.
Fairgrounds is really fun.
That would be cool.
It drives a lot like iRacing too, like as far as line and everything. I probably got up to speed there quicker than any of the others.
I watched the final. This is story time with Jeremiah. YouTube put out some old. I don't even know how the hell it's at. I think TikTok will put me on something for racing, and then I'll want to know more to the story, and I will then just dig in and invest 2 hours. And I found in 1984, the last year of the Cup Series raced at Nashville Fairground Speedway, they had 2 races. The first race, teammates passed each other as the yellow came out with 1.5 laps to go. And NASCAR didn't know what the hell they were doing. So it was Junior Johnson's 2 cars. Darrell Waltrip was running the 11 Bud car. And then the 12 Bud car was Neil Bonnet. Car crashes on the backstretch. 1 lap before they take the white flag. You race back to the white flag or to the yellow. The yellow and white come out at the same time because it's total barbarian racing back then. No cares given. You get the first one back to the flag wins. Darrell takes the white and the yellow at the same time. They run another lap. Darrell has slowed down. Neil Bonnet passes him at turn number 4, coming to the checkered in the yellow, and they give the win to Neil. Call him to victory lane. They switch it back and forth 3 times on the broadcast as it's finishing up. This guy won, this guy won, this guy won. And they're like, well, we just checked the rule book, and the rule book says that Benny Parsons is on the call and Mike Joy, I think. And they're like, the rule book says you race back to the final checkered no matter what. This is insane. The yellow was out.
Yeah.
And then 2 days later, they gave the win the Waltrip or whatever.
Yeah.
But because I was like, this makes no sense at all. I was sitting there just dumbfounded. So yeah, that was the kind of craziness that used to go on at Nashville Fairgrounds.
That has to be
40 years ago.
One of the most insane rules in the history of NASCAR is racing back to the caution. That's unbelievable. If you have a crash out of 4 and the leaders are going into 1, they race back past the crash in 4 back to the line.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And the best part, or the craziest part too, was that say you had a teammate or you're a factory Chevrolet driver and there's another Chevy guy that needs to get a lap back, you would slow down off of 4 to give somebody their lap back because there was no lucky dog yet. So you would slow down so this guy could get ahead of you coming to the line. That's how I'd make his lap back.
That's insane. I don't know how they didn't injure a lot more drivers doing that because having a car stop.
They'd go sit out there for a minute and a half before everybody else can even get out there. And meanwhile, you've just hit the wall and you can't get out.
That's insane.
Imagine having your wreck at IRP
and
then sitting there for 90 minutes waiting because they're still running. By the way, you're sitting there getting ready to get rear-ended.
Yeah.
So 2 other random facts. I did one thing. Jeremiah and I were talking about random comments on social media that get a lot of likes. Where did this come from? Indianapolis 500 did not get pit road speed limits until 1991.
Really?
And
it was that late?
Yes.
1990 for the Cup Series.
Yeah. So they would roll through the pits at 150 miles an hour.
Oh, my God.
And then there's a win. I think it might have been. There was a Rolex Daytona win because a big thing with endurance racing is that if you cross the line and there's time on the clock, you have to finish your lap. And so this guy was like, this car is not going to make it another lap. So he just parked the car on the track at the start-finish line, waited for time to expire, and then bumped the starter to get the car across and won the race because he was up by 4 laps. It was back in the day. So racing pre-cable was insane. And I think they only behaved because they got on television.
Because people can see what's going on.
The insanity.
There was actual proof of it happening at that point.
Yeah, even I was a little bit surprised. I'm going to look this up. 1991 was when they finally put a pit road speed limit.
Can you imagine being a pit guy and they're flying past you at 150?
Well, there was even there was a Bobby Unser win, I think, where guys would intentionally cut down pit lane to pass people under caution. And so they weren't even slowing down to stop. They just would drive down pit lane at top speed.
Insane.
And if you've been at Indy, the pit lane there is narrow compared to everywhere else.
Yeah, they had pit lane speed limits in North America kind of started, I think, after 1990 Daytona 500 because cars crash multiple crew members got killed. No helmets, no, it's just insanity. And
Jerry was smoking a cigarette 30 seconds before the start. Before the stop started. So yeah.
Have you pitted a car yet? Like as a crew member?
Well, so I was about to say that. Yes, I did. So the week after I crashed at IRP, I was given crew guy duty, and I was the rear tire changer for a car. So I did get to do it. The car ended up badly destroyed about 2 laps afterwards, but not by my doing.
It had all the lug nuts. Like it rolled in, you're like, still there. Yes.
I know, right?
Same chassis as you had wrecked?
It wasn't. No, the chassis I wrecked it's still getting repaired. And it was such a good car too.
They've come through a lot of race cars then. It's a bad.
It was a really bad like
stretch.
8 days. It was not good. But
is this Andy Hillenberg's team?
Yeah, because actually
Indiana legend. Yes.
The crash that took out the car that I was pitting involved another one of our cars. It was not good. But
has he ever told you about his Indy 500 career?
Kind of, yeah. So me and Zachary Tinkle and Andy all drove to Kansas together, and I drove like 7 of the 8 hours there. And most of the time, Andy was talking to us about the Indy 500. And I'll tell you what, with Andy, you can tell like when he's talking about the Indy 500 and IndyCar, he just talks different. Like he is so passionate about the Indy 500. It is not even funny. Like you can just tell with his tone that it matters so much to him. And I mean, we were just talking on the way back from Kansas, like just about current IndyCar, current 500s, just stuff like that. And then we, obviously we talked about him running in it and his story there. He had just friends over the years, and they all pitched in, and he had enough of them that they raised the money to have one shot at Indy.
Because I think he was in that window where kind of the local short track guys had the chance, that 96 to 2000 era, before all the champ car teams came flooding back, and that's how he got his opportunity. All right, so we'll put a pin in racing for now, but I'm sure we're going to go back there because that's how things work. Even when we don't have a racing driver here, we end up talking racing.
Yeah.
Zach.
We try.
All right, college football review. Notre Dame and Georgia just went final. You say, no, Jeremiah, that game was supposed to be on Wednesday night on the 1st. We'll get into why that was played now. But Notre Dame just beat Georgia, so the SEC lost another team. Of the big first-time 12-team playoff, we have 4 teams now left. Notre Dame, Penn State, Texas, and Ohio State. Ohio State was a rematch against Oregon in the Rose Bowl. They played each other in the first game of the year, or earlier in the year, and Oregon had beaten Penn State, or by, good God, I'm messing this up. Oregon beat Ohio State by 1 point. This time it started out like 31-0, so it was an absolute just total ass kicking.
Wow.
It was not expected to go that way. Georgia, Notre Dame, I thought Georgia was going to beat them too. So this round I was totally lost. I thought Oregon was going to win. I thought Georgia was probably going to win. Texas and Penn State went into double overtime, and Texas beat Arizona State. And I think there's a lawsuit that was filed today in an appeal over officiating.
Oh wow!
So
sounds messy.
You stay classy, Arizona State. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes on. I guess they all play again next week. Local news, Zach, we had a manhunt and a police chase that flowed over from Pendleton.
Yeah, I saw.
Or Fountain, somewhere in Hancock County. No, good Lord. Madison County, Hamilton County, somewhere over there.
Started in Hamilton County. And
the suburbs. Their problems came to us.
Yeah.
50 guys chasing after 2 folks that came in on County Road 500 over on the west side of the county, crashed a car into the field, disappeared into the darkness. Nobody saw him again.
Yeah, they haven't found him yet.
That's insane that they haven't found them. And it's more insane that they crashed the car into the field and still got away.
They got away. They flew the drone. They never found the guys. They've got the car, and there was an AK-47 left behind in the car. So it was serious.
I even kind of owe my mom an apology. She said, something about an AK. I was like, it was an AR-15. I was like, there's no way they had an AK. And I was like, oh my gosh, they had an AK-47. Like, those still exist? Like, that's a movie gun from when I was a kid. Like, you don't hear about those anymore.
Russian propaganda.
Yeah, I even drove around over there, not looking for them, just like looking for Christmas lights on New Year's Eve, and it's like, I probably shouldn't drive over here. There's some people hiding here. So
with AKs,
it was New Year's Eve. There was, the sheriff's department put a big press release out. They'd looked for like 5 hours all afternoon, never found him. Got to be dark, and it's like, okay, well, y'all go have fun at your parties. Just be aware that these two suspected, felons are running around.
You think
call the cops. Don't go be a hero.
they're probably like almost home free now, you would assume. I mean, I feel like if you're not going to catch them in the first few hours afterwards, it's going to be tough to.
I would look for them in the ARCA 200 down at Daytona.
Right? Yeah. That was my New Year's, by the way. That is insane, though, if they didn't catch them after 5 or 6 hours of searching.
There's officers from every department. Everybody that was chasing 50 people. Yeah. Yeah. It's nuts. All right. So the football game that just wrapped up, Notre Dame and Georgia, was because of a terrorist attack in New Orleans. Some guy that details are sketchy, and whenever these things happen, you never really know how to piece things together and what the facts are and what is just wild internet rumor. But there were Bourbon Street and Canal Street is like the downtown New Orleans, like it's the party zone. New Year's Eve or Christmas, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, that party, and somebody drove a truck into a crowd of people and killed 15 and injured like 30 more. And the dude drove multiple blocks in, had guns, cops killed him, and he's ex-U.S. Army. It's where I'm a month to the day I'm supposed to be there. We're doing a cruise in a month, and I'm like, that's where we're gonna go hang out and check the sites out. So that makes that a little bit more somber going in now. You have little chalk outlines on the ground after. I don't know.
It'll rain between now and then.
Gallows humor, Presley. If we don't do it, you can't get through this. Yeah. So that happens, and then the next day, there's news out of Las Vegas that somebody had a Cybertruck filled with fireworks and maybe gasoline as well, which it's a problem if there's gasoline in a Cybertruck because it doesn't belong in there. And then it blows up in front of the Trump Hotel in Vegas.
It was a big explosion, too.
An enormous explosion. It's just crazy. And then, so the best part of the story, Zach, is that you and I were chuckling before we went on the air. It wasn't his Cybertruck.
No. So he Turo'd it. And Presley doesn't know what Turo is. Turo is Airbnb for cars.
Okay.
So you can rent your car out on Turo. Really? And you can get on.
You want a Mazda for $42 a day? Call Presley.
Yes, and so, and like one of the more popular vehicles to be on there, not necessarily to rent them, but people try to get a bunch of money out of them, are like Cybertrucks. Because they'll ask like big money. Because you can get everything on there. I've never used. My brother actually uses it more. He uses it several times because he'll do a trip for work and just be like, he'll look up what a normal car would be for a business trip. Because they'll reimburse him. Is it okay? Reimburse me this amount, and then he'll just go and see what he can get on Turo. And he's gotten like Porsches. He had a new Ford Bronco. It's like a Porsche Boxster or whatever. So he'll get stuff. So yeah, there's like a Mercedes-Benz C-Class. There's always a bunch of Teslas on there. And here in Indianapolis, Cybertruck, $92 a day, which is cheap because when they first came out, they were like $800 a day. I'm tempted to drive one of those piece of crap monstrosities for $92
$92.
Especially you get that for the snowpocalypse. I hear they're horrible in the snow. You can get like a Suburban for $100. You can get all kinds of stuff. So some poor guy just trying to make a living, renting out a Cybertruck, and
next thing you know, the FBI is calling him.
Yeah, it ends up blown up in front of the soon-to-be president of the United States and former president's building in Vegas. So yeah, not good.
So, first thought is Turo sounds like an awesome business. That sounds so cool. Like the fact that, like, first off, people have to be making insane amounts of money off of that.
Yeah.
Like if you have a really cool car,
yeah,
you're going to be making tons of money off of it.
Yeah. If it goes out for $100 $100 a day or whatever.
I'll tell you what, though, it seems like, I don't know if it's because I haven't been on here. It seems like prices have gone down. Like it used to be, you'd see stuff for like a couple $100, and there probably will be something on here. I'm skimming. There's a GR Corolla for $68 a day, which if people know hot hatches. You can get a Suburban for $80 a day.
What's the cheapest car you could find on Turo right now?
Ooh.
The cheapest car you could get
this is going to be local.
I don't know. Somebody's out there with a little beater. $5 a day. This is my.
I want a cheap ass Civic so there was another YouTube series I watched. 2 British guys flew over to the U.S., found the cheapest flight they could to America anywhere. They wound up in Orlando. and then they found their way to Tennessee, and they rented a Chevy Cruze, a ragged out Chevy Cruze, and drove it from Nashville out to North Carolina and back. And I think they had about $40 in the thing.
Gavin's in the chat.
Gavin is with us now. My God, Mr. Michigan.
Gavin was.
Him and I joked like about a week ago, and it was like half joke, half serious about just like, what if we just find the cheapest flight out of Indy and just
see where you go?
It. Yeah, just for giggles.
It won't let me sort it by price. There's a couple for like $50. $47 a day for a Volkswagen Arteon, a 2020.
That's still pretty good. You've not found me at shitbox yet.
46 for a Kia Forte, but it's a 2023.
That's not bad.
I mean, there's somebody's got Maserati Ghibli on here, and they want like $100 and some bucks, and it's like, why would you do that? You can get an RDX for 54. I'm trying to see.
There has to be like insane liability rules.
I think I think they have like insurance through. I think it's like Liberty Mutual might insure. Wow, but yeah, the prices are kind of so uniform. I'm kind of surprised because usually there'll be some really outlandish stuff that people want. Like, I think the first couple times I saw Cybertrucks, they would literally be like $400 to $500 a day. There's $42 for a Prius.
The only thing about a Turo that would be annoying is that you're dealing with an individual to pick it up, so you've got to be precise on like the pickup and drop off. So say you fly into a city and you want to get a vehicle on Turo, you got to figure out how to make that happen. Like your flight's got to come in on time, and you got to figure out how you're picking it up or whatever. That would be the part that would just be, I think, some of them
like make a business out of it, and so they'll like, oh, you're going to be at the airport, and they can drop it off and like tell you how to get the key. I think I read a story about some poor person that like their renter told them like, oh yeah, just park it on this random street and leave the keys in it, and then
it's gone,
and then it got stolen, and they're like, how's it my fault? Like, you told me I did exactly, and because it was like 4 days later, and the guy still hadn't gotten the car yet, and that's when it got stolen. And here's another Cybertruck for $250. Yeah, the prices are cheap. Turo must be collapsing. There's a Maserati Quattroporte for $72.
Are you serious?
A day.
That's insane.
Yeah, it used to be a lot more expensive stuff. So I would kind of curious, just because I haven't been on here in a while, if it's like,
I wonder if they've gone to the loss leader number, and then they're going to charge you mileage or something crazy.
Yeah, I think they all do it a little bit differently. But for a while, I knew at one point there was an Audi R8 on there. There was a Bentley on there. The Bentley looked a little bit. Now I knew from my brother's experience, my brother's gotten quite a few of them. Matter of fact, he Turo'd a Honda S2000 before he bought one, and that's kind of like, oh, I like this thing. And the one he got had kind of a funky exhaust. The bumper was a little bit different color yellow than the rest of the car. Like, you tell this car had lived a life, man. There's some great stuff on here. There's a Power Wagon. You want to get in some real trouble? For $59 a day. You get yourself in a lot of trouble with a Power Wagon most of them are like $40 to $75 a day. There's some stuff that's more expensive. But yeah, you imagine you Turo your Cybertruck, and next thing you know, it's on the news. But you don't know it's on the news because they all look the same. It's just a silver Cybertruck.
Well, yeah. And the guy blew himself up in it too. So it's
shot himself in the head before.
It's not like you're gonna call him and bitch him out about it.
Who do you even complain to then?
I think it's just insurance.
Yeah.
At that point, you're just like, well, this sucks.
The real question and this is 42-year-old Zach talking, is the values of those things have like plummeted. Like they aren't selling like they thought they were. So I hope that guy didn't pay like foundation edition prices, which is like when they charge you like an extra $15,000 or $20,000 for the first run of them, and then the insurance company's like, yeah, those are worth like $65 now, and he owes $115 on it.
Yeah,
but yeah. So Jimmy Carter's no longer eligible to run for president again. Zach, we talked about this a lot this year. The man celebrated his 100th birthday 3 months ago, and now they're planning our first presidential funeral since George Bush. Do you have any? You're 21 years old, Presley. Jimmy Carter. Any thought of the man at all, like on your radar? Anything? You are our Jimmy Carter expert, obviously. We said that at the beginning of the show. So
not really. Aside from, I joked that I wrote him in on my ballot for November. But no, not really. I mean, I'd seen him in the news here and there over the last couple of years, but I didn't really know anything about him.
Zach and I are in our 40s, and we missed him being president by 6-7 years. Like, it was maybe 4 years. 1970. I think maybe 1981 is when he probably was out of office. So maybe 2 or 3 years we missed. So quite a while. The man's post-presidency is the longest we've ever had, and he's the longest living president. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but I am going to just read off a couple of things here because I want to say this out loud because I feel like
tinfoil hat time.
We have one over there.
Okay.
The man was in hospice for 2 years. I think he's the longest living hospice patient ever. He died on the last Sunday of his 100th year. He died just in time for his burial to be taken care of by this administration.
I saw that.
Right? So, like, if it had gone another couple weeks, President Trump would have been in charge. And I don't want to say anything would happen, but the timing was very convenient to get things wrapped up before he got absolutely hosed by the next people.
When you're 100, where you hear stories about those people and they just like, they tell everybody bye, and then they just die on like of their own will, which he might have just willed himself dead.
Set him over it.
Yeah. I mean, I think he had been in real rough shape for for at least the last year or so. And then I don't know, there's a picture like when he fell and like hurt himself and like busted his face up and was at a Habitat house. He's probably like somebody asked me, I don't have any knowledge of him as a president, but I kept hearing stories he wasn't a very effective president, but probably the greatest human being to have been elected president.
His post-presidency is phenomenal.
He
started Habitat for Humanity or made it a worldwide like entity.
Yeah. So he's probably the nicest person to have ever been. And there's probably a thing that like, why don't we elect good people as presidents? Well, it's probably because that's what you're going to get. It's like, because he cares too much about things that normal people care about. But yeah, his post-president's life was, anything that's people should look up to and think very well about. But he's probably not broken up about who's going to be handling his affairs in the Capitol for that stuff. I can only imagine how awful not to do it.
If it had gone 2 or 3 more weeks,
it would have been a circus.
It would have been
in the most awful, terrible way possible.
When John McCain died, he was not treated well by the president. Like he was basically begrudgingly talking about, we don't want to do it for this guy, whatever. Like it got ugly. So and
you literally can't say anything bad about Jimmy Carter. Like,
well, and if you are, it's about stuff that happened 50 years ago. Like, okay,
get over it.
Yeah,
get over it.
Yeah, the man hadn't had any power since 1979 or 1981, whatever it was. I mean, it's been not in my lifetime, and I'm not young.
Yeah. He's just been doing his thing. I don't think he's spoken out much. He just quietly has been doing good work for 50 years.
So there you go. Pour one out for Jimmy Carter. His brother started a beer company, Philly Beer.
Really?
Yeah.
I should have. I've got cans.
You have cans of Billy Beer?
Cans of Billy Beer hanging in my basement.
He's
my
kept at the ready.
Yeah.
Just in case.
I did not have it. My dad had it. Yeah. Evidently, Billy was not quite as good of a reflection on the Carter name, but he was a character.
Yeah. Billy was the
cousin Eddie.
Yeah.
Of the Carter family.
Yeah. I was going to go with a different one, but like the that's actually perfect because his brother, cousin Eddie, went on to be a well-known NASCAR car owner just a couple years after Christmas Vacation. But
he really?
In Days of Thunder, he was the car owner.
Oh, in Days of Thunder. I thought like real life.
Randy, gosh. So that is perfect though. Randy Quaid and Dennis Quaid, right? Like Dennis Quaid is the Jimmy Carter, and Randy Quaid is cousin Eddie.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
Do you know the Quaid brothers as actors?
No.
So you know. Oh my God! Here we go.
Randy is cousin Eddie in Christmas Vacation or the National Lampoon's movie. He's also. Have you ever seen Independence Day? The movie, the Alien.
Did you watch Christmas Vacation ever?
I have. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's cousin Eddie. Crapper's full. Except right. Sugar's full. That guy, and that's his. And he kind of turns out he might not have been totally acting for some of that. He got crazy.
Really?
Yes. Like he and his wife tore up a hotel room, whatever.
He was hiding in Canada for a long time over some taxes. Yeah. Dennis Quaid is his more straight-laced brother. Did you ever watch the Disney movie, The Rookie? He was a baseball pitcher.
I don't think so.
No.
I'm trying to think. Dennis has not been in much late
Yeah, most of his stuff ended like 2009, 2010. He's in the right stuff. Breaking Away, a movie known here in Indiana. Did you ever hear Breaking Away?
Mm-mm.
That's actually a cycling movie based at IU.
Really?
Yeah, but well before my time as well. So but that was apparently was his first starring role. You never know where a show's going to go. We are into Randy and Dennis Quaid now at 8:30.
I watched Interstellar for the first time last night.
Interstellar, what is that?
I've never seen that.
Really?
Yeah.
Space movie.
Okay.
But they they're trying to save the universe because I guess it's like an alternate current reality.
Yeah, it's got
like
Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, but they've got like current Dodge trucks and stuff like that. But it's like an alternate reality where, like, I guess the environment's really bad. People are gonna die. There's really bad dust storms and stuff. And NASA's like not a thing anymore. It's like an underground thing. And yeah, I don't know. Dude goes to space, comes back, and weird stuff with time and everything.
I think that I heard maybe it was an interview with Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he said what movie gets it the most right in terms of space, and he actually said that one because he said that in that situation that would actually happen where he like goes down to a planet and he comes back and he's gone for himself like it's a day, but like the people that he left it was like years, because of gravity and whatever that actually would have been time.
The cast on it looks phenomenal. Matthew McConaughey.
It was a
Anne
really,
Hathaway,
really, really good movie.
Matt Damon, Timothy Chalamet, the best movie I've seen in the last year was one just last week I saw with Timothy Chalamet. The new Bob Dylan movie. Perfect. It's phenomenal. Really, really good.
Yeah, I recommend that to anyone. It was seriously really good. It's like 2 hours or 2.5 hours long though. Just a long one. But
this time of the year, what else are you gonna do?
Yeah,
it's dark at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Check it out. All right. New Congress comes in tomorrow. So prepare for the world to be useless again for a minute. The last time we got a new Congress, it took them 16 votes for Speaker of the House. They have a tighter margin between the Republicans and Democrats, and there are, I think, if only 2 Republicans say no to the current Speaker, then they can't put a Speaker in, and until they put a Speaker in, the House of Representatives cannot come to order. So it gets into this boot loop thing, and that happened for like the first week last year. It took 16 ballots for Kevin McCarthy to get the job, or 2 years ago, I guess it was. This is 25. And then in October, they threw the guy out, and we got the Mike Johnson fellow that's there now. There's already multiple people that have said, hell no, I'm not voting for Mike Johnson again. So don't be surprised if there's a mess tomorrow.
Now, I haven't kept up on all the happenings, but I realized that one of the people, I believe, who's going to kind of turn into, I'm trying to think of the guy. There was the one Democrat guy who would kind of be the guy that kind of throws a wrench and everything, is the Congresswoman Sparks.
Yes.
Has
represents Muncie.
Yes. Has basically said that she is not going to be a participating Republican in terms of like official party functions. To what extent that means and everything, I'm not super sure, but I did hear, I'm assuming that she's going to be influential in that regard, though. You say they need, if 2 people say no.
Thomas Massey from Northern Kentucky has also said no.
So there's your 2.
Yeah, that's enough. So I'm saying buckle up. It's going to be a thing tomorrow.
I haven't really looked into what her demands are and what things she said she would or would not be doing, but she did say she was like, I'm not going to be participating in any like party functions or committees or anything like that.
So apparently, and I learned this when she declared this, if you get in a committee appointment, this is the political spoil system in our country, if you want to say you're a member of Congress, Presley, and you represent the 6th district in Wayne County here, and you live here, so obviously if you're elected as you're a Republican, whether you want to be or not, that's what you have to be if you want to be serving to represent this part of the country. You would have to give, to sit on any committee at all, you're expected to give $500,000 to the national party for every one of your committee appointments. So say you want to sit on a safety committee or a committee that looks at
is that the baseline?
Anything.
Is that the baseline?
That's the associate sponsor.
Is it like racing? If you want the better seat, you got to pay more money. Yeah. Because there's obviously a very significant hierarchy.
We're not getting on the hood.
Yeah.
This is $500,000 so that you can sit on the oversight committee or whatever. So that's the situation. She says, I'm not playing that game. She's going to be a member of Congress, but she's not going to be on any committees because she's not going to pay this money. That's the story. There's a lot of none of this makes any actual effect on your life. So a lot of it, we look at it and it's just theater and it's horrific entertainment where they're just spending our money. But things that I find interesting is kind of where we go with these. We're getting a new congressman tomorrow. It's the first time we haven't had a Pence representing this area in Congress or as governor since what year were you born, Presley?
2003.
So you were not born yet.
Negative
the
4.
last time. Mike Pence was elected to be our congressman in 2000. He was our congressman, and then he was our governor. And then during his, I believe, during his governorship, this congressional district was picked up by Greg Pence. So we've had Greg Pence until now, and he's just retired. So we're getting a new one. Jefferson Shreve, the bajillionaire politician out of Indianapolis,
Just kept running until he got something.
He ran for mayor of Indianapolis, didn't work out, so he said, "I've got more money. Let's go be a congressman." That's another. You should write that one down too. Give him a call. He's got he sold a self-storage company. He's an Indiana congressman. Maybe he needs some race cars.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So it's worth setting up a phone call.
Yeah.
Let's look up. The internet's always. Oh, it's not going to pop up right away.
I tried to find his official congressional website.
Oh, he sold his storage company for $590 million.
Wow.
Pretty good.
By a couple
Now,
race cars.
he might have spent 100 of that trying to run for office.
Getting a job in government.
Yeah, but yeah.
So Representative Shreve will start tomorrow. I was trying to put this in the show notes today. Shreve.house.gov doesn't exist yet, but Pence.house.gov does. And I assume they just switch it at midnight or when they take the office over or whatever. But there was not a lot going on the Greg Pence website today. I was checking. There's nothing. It was just a shell of itself.
Really?
Everybody had left. There was not much happening. But yeah, the Shreve was not there yet. That's it. That's all the news I want to put you guys through today. That was timely, and I wanted to get into it a little bit. We'll wrap up with just talking New Year's resolutions. If you guys have any, Presley, you're going to hit the gym, I guess. That's the deal.
Yeah.
You're going to get in Daytona shape. Get your beach
Something
bod.
like that, yeah.
Yeah. What's that look like? Is it lifting? Is it running? Is it just not eating chocolate eggs?
That's the big one, yeah. Just not eating, like, there's not going to be any food left. But, yeah, lifting for sure. I ran a lot a couple of years ago, but I'm not.
It's not your thing?
No.
Zach started on New Year's 3 years ago, and you're like, 1,000 and some consecutive days with at least a mile?
1098 today. I haven't looked. I haven't been checking. But yeah, I got 3 years done, so now I'm 2 days into year 4.
I got to get my 8-pack back and my orange spray tan going and everything.
Just a picture of you sunbathing at Daytona.
On Lake Lloyd.
I'd like to see you
with a bottle of hot sauce.
I'd like to see you take your 5-seat Mazda out on the beach at Daytona.
I know. That'd be kind of fun.
You ever driven on the beach there?
I haven't, no.
I have. It's really cool to be able to drive on the beach, right on the sand. It's the only place in the world I've ever been allowed to drive like that, somewhere like that. They don't let you race.
It'd be nice.
Drive out there and park.
I mean, you can race. You can race for a little bit until they catch you.
Yeah. NASCAR was built on outlaws. Just make them stop you. What are they going to do? Throw you out? I'm not doing it again. I live in Indiana.
Yeah.
Plus, that's a good way to get some. Say we get this ride light up for you. Thursday, you go down, you get some press coverage. And then when you get in trouble for doing it, you say, I was just going back to the roots and I was just working in the groove. You just need to make a couple of turns and dig in a little bit.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. So this is guerrilla marketing.
Maybe I can get away too, like the other two dudes around here.
They've got a lot of practice catching Florida man down there. I would not count on. Not count on your escape working out.
Yeah,
true.
You need more than alcohol to get away from them down there. That's a methed up state.
Yeah.
Any resolutions for you, Zach Burcham?
No, just trying to survive. But this one, like at the end of last year, is just like, let's just have let's not have any major calamities. 2025. Yeah, and other than that, the running thing's just kind of like that's just what I do.
That's not new.
What do you do? I run every day. That's why I even somebody got me a shirt that said, "Oh, a day without running is I don't know what that is." And I'm kind of at that point. I don't really know what that is anymore. So, no, try to be better. That's vague.
I mean, listen, I put in here, do New Year's resolutions go away? But you kept yours for like 4 years. So obviously you were running before that too, but the consistency is incredible. There's a lot to be learned from that. I don't have a particular resolution this year. I'm just trying to figure out when the year starts. Technically, I guess it started yesterday. I went back to work today, but Thursday felt like Monday again.
Yeah, I was excited for that. New Year's Eve is or New Year's Day is my least favorite holiday. I think it's just like a downer. It's just a hangover day. And even if you don't drink, like I don't drink, you still like tired because you stayed up too late. And there's like, whatever. We went to see a movie. We took some of the track and cross country kids on a hike. Jeff likes to do that. Jeff couldn't do that. I went out there and helped. Jeff was there, but I took the kids on the hike because he couldn't hike. So we did that. Went out to Westwood, did that, and then went and saw Sonic 3 with my kids, and was just like, nah, okay, it's time to go back to work. But I wouldn't broken up about it being on a Wednesday though. So at least it breaks up my work week.
It does help because everybody kind of mails it in on the Tuesday.
It's always an ugly day, so might as well be an ugly day that breaks your week up into like weekend chunks. Christmas being on Wednesday, not good, but New Year's Day or whatever, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. We're just going to get back in the swing of things, right? Like the world starts again Monday. To me, I feel like January 7th or 6th or whatever that first Monday back after the New Year's is kind of where I feel like business actually happens, and like it's the top attendance day for people back at their desks. Yeah, because folks have just been missing in action. And instead, we're going to get like depending upon what weather app you believe, 4 to 47 inches of snow potentially is coming.
Yeah,
Sunday night.
I checked that earlier. The Weather Channel app for Newcastle says between the 2 days, 2 to 6 inches, 1 to 3, and 1 to 3.
12 between the 2 days.
See, I got tricked. I got tricked by the app because I was like, oh, one day, like Saturday afternoon, it was like an inch. And then Sunday afternoon, it's going to be like an inch. But then I didn't realize I had to do a cumulative and look at the Saturday night, and it was like 6 inches. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, maybe I missed that. Let me check.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, this is kind of calling for a real thing.
So, there were winter storm warnings for tonight.
It's gone up. It's gone up since I checked it. Good. Oh, I'm fueling the truck up. We're gonna have a good time. Yeah. So Weather Channel app for Newcastle. I hadn't even thought of 3 to 5 Sunday, 5 to 8 Sunday night, and another 1 to 3 on Monday.
Yeah.
We're gonna be crippled. I'm going to work on Monday though.
Sure you are.
Might be driving the truck. You know, I make it. I have never, man, knocking on wood, I've not missed a day due to weather. Ever. And I drive the Mazda to where I need to go. Most of my drives on NDOT roads. I just need to get to 3. And my employer, the state government, doesn't acknowledge snow emergencies unless Marion County goes under a snow emergency, which has happened once in 17 years that I've been employed. So doubtful.
Chances aren't likely.
Not good. Because if they declare a snow emergency, then it shuts down state government, and the state doesn't like to be bullied by the city. So,
a tale as old as time.
It is. Yeah.
Final thoughts, Zach Burcham?
Like I said, Jeff Watterson, friend of the show, he did an ultra marathon last week. He DNF'd, but he went 72 miles before he DNF'd
on foot. That's further than this guy made it at IRP.
Dragging a sled without any snow.
That's insane.
It's a self-supported race, so his wife and his kids are there and they're supporting him, but they can't touch him. Ironically, he can go to like a Dollar General and buy stuff. He can like buy things, but he can't. People can't give him anything, or people can't help him. And it was in like Wisconsin, up way up north, and usually they have snow. They had no snow, and if anybody's friends with them on Facebook or look them up on Facebook, you might be like semi-public. There's a picture of him dragging a sled down a gravel road, which is I think what most of that trail was just a gravel path. It obliterated his sled. Like there's holes in it. He survived. Messed his leg up a little bit, but he'll be all right. He's alive, which is good because I was like a little like he was signed up to do 160 miles. So, and they had 20. I think he said 26 people signed up. 3 people finished, and one of those guys is a multiple time. I did Rod 1000.
Oh my gosh,
finisher or whatever. So that was on a sled, but the dude's still prepared to like do dumb things. Which these are dumb things that ultra marathons or whatever. So other than that, I'm trying to think. There's something else probably, but my brain defeats me now. So, but hey, it's 2025 racing season's coming up. I can't wait.
Rolex 24 is this month.
Yeah,
Chili Bowl.
Chili Bowl. That's a special race.
Yeah.
I need to go to it once.
Indoors,
I wanna
just
go
breathing
once.
the fumes.
Yeah, just
Everybody
breathing
getting
fumes.
sick the next week.
Look, Catherine Legg's doing it.
Yeah. And
yeah, she is.
and I
forgot about that.
think Ferrucci's doing
Yeah,
it
Ferrucci.
again.
I think I don't know if I heard that they were going to be the same team necessarily, but yeah, they're both doing it. I'm a Catherine Legg fan. Ferrucci's a necessary evil in racing. He's a good character. I'm not a big
I
fan
love
of
Ferrucci.
I'm not a big fan of his, but like, do I want him to disappear? No, because he is a good character to have.
Presley, final thoughts? Anything you forgot?
I hope 2025 is good.
If somebody watched this and said, I want to get involved in Presley Sorah racing, how are they going to do it?
My socials are Presley Sorah on everything. Our website's presleysorah.com. Just get with me. I've got stuff. I mean, I can make it happen. So whether you're a Fortune 500 company or you run a basement business and sell little clay cats, we can get you on the car.
We can get
Promise.
you on a race car. Very good. Well, support the sponsors that are a part of it. We do that in our house. I'm telling you that the hot sauce that he has, I'm incredibly sold. We're going to buy a case. My mailbox today had some Elf cosmetics for Catherine Legg. We're supporters of that as well. I walked back in the door today. I said, your Elf delivery's here, Sarah, because she buys it all the time. And our dinner tonight was Screamin' Sicilian Pizza, which is the IndyCar deal with
AJ Foyt Racing.
with AJ Foyt Racing and with Santino Ferrucci. So we take it seriously. We do. If you're in motorsports, we try to support you and hang out with it. And we're very happy that you're here again, Presley.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Hope we can make it happen more often because we do enjoy having you.
Yeah.
And I really hope the next time we have you on, it's about finishing a race very successfully.
Hope so.
And not
nice.
the not the
Right.
not the bumps and bruises along the way, man.
Yeah.
All right. With that, we will be back Thursday of next week. Bones Harcourt is scheduled to return. Everybody's favorite UPS guy.
He survived.
Well, we haven't had 14 inches of snow drop on him yet, but that's the schedule. We'll see you next Thursday.